The Ilco 057HS is a precision-engineered key machine designed to efficiently duplicate high-security internal and external track automotive keys with cutting accuracy to within 2/1000ths of an inch. Designed with the operator in mind, it has versatile vice jaws and easy one-handed operation. A roller bearing system provides smooth operation of the traverse lever, while the lateral spring system maintains proper cutting pressure. The locking third axis ensures consistent cutting depth. The Ilco 057HS comes with a tool set, an easy-to-follow operator's manual, an instructional DVD, a sample pattern key, and 5 practice key blanks. We recommend that you keep the shipping carton just in case you ever need to reship the machine. Most versions of laser or sidewinder keys can be duplicated on the Ilco 057HS using the included tracer point and the 2.5mm cutter without the need for any additional accessories. Some 2-track keys, however, require optional economically priced adapters to securely hold the keys in the vice jaws. These include early model Mercedes keys and BMW, VW Audi, Rover, Porsche, and Ford 2-track keys. An optional small diameter cutter and tracer point are required in order to duplicate the new style Lexus keys. Treat the vice jaws with care and they will produce highly precise keys for years. Replaceable jaw surface plates provide an economical and quick repair solution for normal vice jaw wear and minimize your downtime. Full instructions are covered later in this video. The Z-axis lever on the left controls the vertical position of the cutter and sets the depth of the cut. Once the correct cutting depth has been set, the Z-axis locking knob, located on the right, is used to lock the head in place. The traverse lever on the right is then used to control the movement of the tracer point and cutter during the cutting process. Although the Ilco 057HS comes with a rotating cutter shield, safety glasses must still be worn during operation to reduce the possibility of eye injury. The power switch is located at the top left front corner of the machine. Always turn the machine off before making adjustments or inserting or removing keys. We recommend you always unplug the machine when changing the cutter to prevent an accidental startup that could lead to injury. Before you can cut a working key, you must install the tracer point and cutter bit and properly calibrate the machine. These are the tools included for that task: the Allen wrench, and the left and right side calibration keys. The right calibration key, marked R, is 2/1000ths of an inch thicker than the left key, marked L. This prevents the cutting bit from making contact with the vice jaw when the head is lowered into cutting position. Make sure the motor is turned off and the unit is unplugged for this procedure. Place the left side calibration key, marked L, into the left key slot of the vice jaw, pressing down to make sure it's perfectly flat, and securing it by tightening the knob. Then place the right side calibration key, marked R, into the right key slot of the vice jaw. Lay it flat and secure it by tightening the knob. Next, insert the appropriate tracer point, normally T22, into the sleeve over the left side calibration key until it bottoms out. Use the Allen wrench to tighten the set screw in the sleeve. Caution! Do not over-tighten this set screw, or you could strip the threads of the head assembly's aluminum casing. Now rotate the plastic cutter shield to access the cutting bit spindle. Insert the appropriate cutter, normally F22, loosely into the right spindle. Do not tighten the cutter locking screws yet. While holding the cutter loosely in place, lower the head assembly by pulling down on the Z-axis lever on the left side of the machine until the tracer point lightly contacts the L calibration key. The cutter will slide up inside the spindle as you lower the head assembly until it is resting in contact with the R calibration key. The table should move freely under the tracer point as slight contact is maintained. Next, tighten the Z-axis locking knob to hold the head assembly in position. The tracer point and cutter are now both in contact with their respective calibration keys. So tighten the two set screws in the cutter spindle to hold the cutter in position. Loosen the Z-axis locking knob and raise the head assembly. Remove both calibration keys. The Ilco 057HS is now calibrated and ready to use. Most laser-style keys have a series of cuts around the outside edge of the key. This key has cuts on 1, 2, 3, 4 edges of the key, and is therefore called a 4-track external cut laser key. Other external cut laser keys may have only 2 tracks, usually 1 on each side. Another category of laser-style keys have an internal cut. These keys are cut in the center portion of the key rather than along the outside edges. There are 2 styles of laser automotive keys. This key has shoulders. This one does not have shoulders. Therefore, it is a tip-stop key. Shoulder-gauged keys have a distinct square shoulder and are positioned so that the shoulder is in contact with the front edge of the vice jaws when the clamp knob is tightened. Tip-gauged keys have no shoulder, or the shoulder is not square to the key blank. They must be positioned by placing the tip stop into the appropriate slot on the vice jaw, usually the back slot. The tip of the key should make contact with the tip stop before tightening the jaw's clamping knob. Shorter keys, however, may require the use of the first slot in order for their tips to make contact with the tip stop bar. Remove the tip stop after clamping the key. Once calibrated, you're ready to clamp your pattern key into the left vice jaw. This key has no shoulder, so it requires a tip stop. Make sure to lay the pattern key flat in the vice jaw, slide it into contact with the tip stop, and clamp it securely. Remove the tip stop. To set the depth of the cut, use the traverse lever to move the jaw under the tracer point. Then lower the Z-axis lever until the tracer point comes into slight contact with a cut portion of the key. Make sure the tracer point moves easily over the cut areas of the key. Maintain that slight pressure on the Z-axis while tightening the locking knob to secure the position of the cutter head. Use the traverse lever to move the vice jaw assembly away from the cutter for easier access. Now, insert, position, and clamp the key blank using the same procedure used in clamping the pattern key. The starting point of the cut depends on the type of key being duplicated. There is a correct direction of travel to be maintained for each style of key. When cutting an external track key, the starting point is on the right side closest to the head of the key. You cut the key by moving counterclockwise up the right side, around the tip, and down the left side of the key. For an internal track key, the starting point is at the tip of the key on the right side. Follow a clockwise movement down towards the head, Then move back up the left side of the key. With the starting point determined, you're ready to cut the key. Return the cutter shield to the front position, and be sure you always wear safety glasses when cutting. Turn on the 057HS and maneuver the traverse lever with your right hand while supporting the unit with your left. Begin cutting at the head of the key on the right side and work your way around the pattern key. Focus attention on the tracer point using the traverse lever to trace the pattern key. Use steady, even pressure, maintaining contact between the tracer point and the pattern on the key. Do not apply excessive force. After finishing the cut, it's preferable to retrace the key a second time to be sure you don't miss any areas. You don't want to leave an island of uncut material along the edge of the key blade. Here's a tip. Keys with deep cuts are best cut by making an initial shallow first pass, and then, after returning to the starting point, making a second pass to clear away material not removed on the first pass. After finishing the cut on the first side of the key, turn off the unit and remove the key from the right vice jaw. Using the brush provided, carefully remove any shavings that would prevent the key from lying flat on the jaw surface. Flip the key blank over, re-gauge it, and repeat the cutting process on the second side of the key. The pattern key does not need to be flipped over in order to cut the second side of the key blank. After retracing the second cut one more time, your new key is complete. Carefully check the duplicate key against the pattern key and inspect it to be sure you have not left material on it that should have been cut away. That's all there is to it. First, observe the original position of the vice jaw assembly in the table's dovetail prior to removal. Use the 1/8 inch hex wrench to loosen the set screw and slide the vice jaw assembly sideways out of the dovetail. Do not loosen these two lock nuts or set screws on the assembly. Instead, loosen the 4 mounting screws on top of the replaceable vice jaws using a 9/64 hex wrench. Remove the old vice jaws, but save the screws. Place the new static jaw on the left side of the vise and insert 2 of the mounting screws. Tighten them until snug. And then back off an 1/8 turn so the jaw slides freely. Place the new movable jaw on the right side and insert the other 2 mounting screws. Tighten them until snug and back off an 1/8 turn so that jaw also slides freely. Next, place the aligning tool in the vice jaw slots. While holding the static jaw in this position, tighten the 2 mounting screws. Caution: do not over-tighten. Then, place an HO01 or similar key blank into the vice jaws and close the vise until the key is held snug. Tighten the 2 mounting screws. Caution: do not over-tighten. Remove the key blank and the alignment tool. Check the mounting screws for tightness without over-tightening. The new vice jaws are now ready to gauge and clamp keys. Slide the vice jaw assembly back into the dovetail on the vice table. Return it to its original position and tighten the set screw to secure the assembly. Now you're ready to resume making keys.